Welcome back to today's video, and the topic is going to be on rounding numbers. And I'll show you what the meaning is and go over several examples with you and then give you a bonus activity. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at these examples now. So the only vocabulary word we're going to use today is the word round, which will increase or decrease a number to the nearest multiple of 10, 100, 1,000, etc. For example, 3,452 rounded to the nearest 100 is 3,500. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more on this now. So I've got this number line up, 3 of them actually, and then the first question says is, what numbers should the children put halfway along each number line? Okay, so what number goes in the middle here? All right, so roughly here's the middle, and then what would the first number be on that number line? Well, it would be 2,325. For the second one, it would be 2,350, and then for the third one, it would be 2,500. Okay, now the second question, which is a little bit blocked behind my head, says approximately where will 2,327 be on each number line? So where would you put 2,327 on each of these number lines? Okay, so again, this is basically like an estimation here. So I'm just going to kind of highlight where the 2,327 would go on the first number line here, and then the second one here, and then the third one will go here. So, you know, the closer they are, the easier it is to kind of estimate where to put that. Okay, so I didn't want to put an actual answer key up because I don't want to discourage you from trying to actually show what you think your estimation is, because unless we have specific tiny little lines, we're not really going to know. Okay, so let's continue on now. So just keep in mind that 2,327 rounds up to 2,330 to the nearest 10 because it is closer to 2,330 than 2,320. And remember, numbers with 5 or more in the ones place round up to the nearest 10. Okay, so remember, that's what the rule is. All right. So my first question to you is, does 2,327 round up or round down to the nearest 100? And then why? Okay, so reading this carefully, we know that it rounds down because 2,327 is closer to 2,300 than 2,400. And remember, keep in mind that numbers with less than 5 in the tens place round down to the nearest 100. Okay, so always got to remember that rule, please. What digit should we check when rounding 2,327 to the nearest 100? Again, after reading this carefully, we know that we check the tens digit 2, and since it is less than 5, we round down to 2,300. Okay, so you've got to remember that rule, especially with the number 5. If it's less than 5, you're always going to round down. Okay. Next question here is, what digit should we check when rounding 2,327 to the nearest 1,000? And we know that we check the hundreds digit 3, and since it is less than 5, we round down to 2,000. Okay, so I've got some little practice activities to do real quick, and then I'll show you the bonus activity. So we're just going to round to the nearest 10 here. So for letter A, we're going to round 295 to the nearest 10, which is 300. For letter B, 3,434, rounded to the nearest 10 is 3,430. For letter C, 4,295, rounded to the nearest 10 is 4,300. For letter D, 5,702 rounded to the nearest 10 is 5,700. And for letter E, 5,726 rounded to the nearest 10 will be 5,730. Here, we're just going to round letter A to the nearest 100. Now, there's a lot of numbers here. I will not read them all off to you because just to save time, I know my previous video can be a bit long, so I'm trying not to take up too much time on this here. So just reading each of these numbers, round it to the nearest 100. So the answers would be as follows here, and as you can see, they've all been rounded to the nearest 100. Okay, for letter B, same numbers actually, but now they want you to round to the nearest 1,000. So if we're going to round all these numbers here to the nearest 1,000, the answers would be as follows here. Okay, so again, you can kind of see how rounding to the nearest 100 and rounding to the nearest 1,000 can be different. Okay, and for the last two here for letter B, those are the answers. My head is actually right between the numbers, so it's not blocking it at all. Okay, let's continue on now. So I've got two bonus activities for you here. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at them now. So for the first one, you're just going to round the numbers under each heading. So again, you've got a number column with these numbers here, rounded to the nearest 1,000 here. So just go ahead and do what it's asking. Second column, middle column, I should say here, it says rounded to the nearest 100. So just do what it asks, round to the nearest 100. And the last one here says rounded to the nearest 10. So just read the numbers and round it to the nearest 10. Okay, just write them in like that. The second one now, I like this one because it's got a reading and writing comprehension activity for you to do. So I'm not even going to read it to you because I just want you to read it and then answer it as such. Okay, now I like this one because it's, like I said, it's a reading and comprehension question, and you've got to read it carefully, and you're going to have to read it a couple of times because it's the only way you're going to get the answer right. Okay, you don't got to give me a complete sentence. You don't have to give me a period or full stop. I just want to know what the numbers are. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that as it is, and then I'll let you figure that out. Okay, however, I will have an answer key down in the description below for you to look at so you can check out how you did, especially for that second bonus activity, because it does have answers. Okay, it's not an open-ended or like a, an opinion type of question. There are answers. Okay, so make sure you check it out. All right, so that'll do it for today's video. And as always, I really appreciate you spending part of your day with me, and I hope you found something beneficial out of this. And again, if you got any questions, please leave them in the description down below or send me an email and I'll be happy to get back to you. And as always, please take care out there, and I will see you on the next video.